If there's one thing every car guy hates, it's cleaning the garage. Do you want to take most of the time and hassle out of that job? Then call Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Agnes and her crew will have your garage, shop, basement, or even your porch looking great all the time. With unique patterns and designs, plus the ability to incorporate your logo or any artwork, your space will never have looked better. Installation is done in 1 day, guaranteed, and Zone Garage offers a 20-year warranty on the top coat. Their coatings are durable, anti-slipped, and impact resistant. Give them a call at 570-856-6067. That's 570-856-6067 for Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. The tit, the most unassuming of bird species. The tit is from a large family of small passerine birds which mainly occur in the northern hemisphere. Members of this family are commonly referred to as tits throughout much of the English-speaking world. These birds are mainly small, stocky, woodland species. Some have crests or beards. Just like another animal, the Alba commune pine, they range from 4 to 8 inches. Many species live around human habitation and come readily for nuts or seed, and learn to take other foods. This message was presented by the DeWeather Institute for Climate Knowledge. The DeWeather Cares Knights Tits Kickball Tournament is coming this October and benefits 4 cancer-related charities. See DeWeather Center on Facebook for more information. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Road Atlanta in Brazelton, Georgia, where tonight the stars and cars of the Indy Pro 2000 Championship will take on one of the world's fastest race courses. My name is Chris Graham with the National Racing Network, joined alongside of James Watson, and well, taking a little bit longer to get logged in here than normal. How about 44 cars on the entry list? I tell you what, James, we've got 22 entered in this split, and this is going to be a spectacular field.
This is going to be awesome. This is the biggest split we've seen in quite a long time. You know, some are starting to be concerned about the participation of recent races, but man, we got us a stacked field tonight.
Yes, we do. Number one, going to be Joe Boatfewer, John, good Lord, I can read, I promise, people. John Boatfewer.
He's lying.
Yeah. Making his way back up the hill. So we're going to get all of the, make sure we've got all the right paint schemes on the cars here. Tell you a little bit about the series here. Everett Paddock is your points leader with no Greg Seitz this season. Everett Paddock, 290 markers. Going to be up by, we'll say, right about 30 over Ann Medema, who's at 258. Chris Preston, Fabio Berchtold, and John Boatfewer, your top 5. Thomas Schrage, Don Rathburn, Jack Wells, Jason Owens, and Frankie D completing the top 10 here, and very tight here with only a couple of weeks in the books. This is round number 3 of the championship. I don't want to say it's a surprise, but how about Jason Owens running inside the top 10 in points here?
That's awesome. I know Jason has been putting in a lot of work trying to be able to turn right. We all know he's a freaking powerhouse when it comes to turning left, but yeah, turning right hadn't been much of his strong suit. I think it's probably because there's Rovals on the TNT schedule and he really wants to win the championship. I don't think he'd be putting up the same amount of effort if it wasn't.
Getting a good look here at Everett Paddock. 1 minute 15.811 going to be the quick lap time here around Road Atlanta. Jacob Smith, Alex Rassi, Chris Preston, and Mike Holler, your top 5. Talking a little bit here about Road Atlanta, this place, we just came off a fast race course in the Grid Rival Ezra IndyCar Series at Watkins Glen. Road Atlanta could possibly be even faster than Watkins Glen.
Yeah, you really don't think about it, but it's got a hell of a lot more straights than the Glen does. It's just getting through all of the really tight, tough, squiggly bits in the first sector and a half. If you can survive that, it's a really fast track. It's just surviving this bit right here. That's where you make.
Yes, this is all the time to be made up here. The S's is basically, we'll say 3, maybe 4 separate corners, but they're all labeled as turn 4. It's just the S's. Turn number 1 is a hard right-hand corner. Pit exit dumps out right at the end of turn number 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, it's kind of the wiggly bit right in the middle. And then it is a lot of fast racetrack. Long run, fairly long run from turn 5 to turn 6. Then you have, it's almost a double apex corner is really how you drive that 6-7 complex. And then it is wide open throttle screaming down the back straightaway. Part of the racetrack that has, well, we'll say a decorated history here at Road Atlanta. Down towards turn 10. At one time, allegedly used to land drug smuggling planes on. Back in the days when IMSA was known as the International Marijuana Smugglers Association. Road Atlanta has an absolutely insane history, and we're going to get to see more of it made here tonight. Looks like David Porcelli is going to be out on the racetrack here. He's going to put himself up to 5th position on the grid. And go ahead there, James.
I'm still laughing my ass off. I never knew that. It's interesting to see David here, though. I run with him Saturday nights in VOR, and he's that man can drive. Let me tell you that. So it's interesting seeing him wheel one of these cars with significantly less speed, downforce, and other fun parts.
And a very tight grid at the front of the field here as well. Everett Paddock by 18 thousandths of a second. Over Alex Rassi, Jacob Smith, Brett Gardner, David Porcelli. You're talking 5 cars all within about a second of each other at the front of the grid. That's usually what makes for pretty good racing.
Yeah, and with all these straights and how draft locked this car has always been, we might see another top of the board, bottom of the board slickfest like we saw last week.
Take a look here as Porcelli going to come down to complete his run. New quick time, top of the board. 1 minute, 15.763 seconds. This one's going to be fun for sure. How about a half second back to 7th place, Chris Preston. To find 1 second in difference in lap time, you got to go all the way back to 12th place, Alec Campbell. Everybody back to 18th place, Jason Owens, is within 2 seconds of each other in lap time here. This one could be a pretty spectacular race for sure, as we are down inside the final 20 seconds or so of qualifications. Looks like Aaron Stillwell going to be the last car that will get a lap in, and he will not finish that second lap. Qualifications are over. It is time to go racing here for the Indy Pro 2000 Championship. This one is going to be wild. Points leader Everett Paddock sitting on 3 starts, 3 wins, and he's led 59 of 60 laps that he's completed this season. He's going to have to do it from 2nd place on the grid here this evening. Chris Preston, currently 3rd in points, will start 7th tonight. 4 starts, 1 win, 2 top 5s. Not a bad season so far for anybody here towards the front of the field. Let's get the look from high over top here of Road Atlanta, and we will get you tonight's starting grid. On the pole for this one will be New Jersey's David Porcelli to 1 minute 15.763. 48 thousandths back to Everett Paddock in the second position. Alex Rassi from Canada, Jacob Smith from Michigan will occupy row number 2. Brett Gardner and John Boatfewer in row number 3. Chris Preston, Nagisa Yashikawa on row 4. Giancarlo Schooler, Frank Wynn on the 5th row. Mike Holler and Alec Campbell in the 6th row. How about 4 Canadians inside the top 12 as we get ready to roll here tonight? Tom Whitmer and Lewis Toland out of Australia and New Zealand in row number 7. Row number 8, Mike Ricecamp and Frankie D out of the Midwest on row number 8. Row 9 will have Simon Fell and Jason Owens. Aaron Stillwell, Andy Corsa on row 10. How about Andy Corsa not getting a lap in the books? He will have to start this one from very, very deep in the field, but Corsa having a good performance last week. We'll see what he can do here at Road Atlanta this week. Mark Stevenson and James Curtis will make up the 11th and final row here this evening. 22 of the 44 cars entered in this top split. 22 running in the, well, I guess bottom split, but second split anyway. Field's going to start to pull away. They will be led to the green by David Porcelli and Everett Paddock.
Whoa. That got a little hairy right there off the grid.
Yeah, I was going to say, and the full pace lap here too. Always makes you at least a little bit nervous. The other thing that makes me nervous, I'm going to pick on these guys here. Jacob Smith and Alex Rassi in row number 2. F1 liveries on modern Road to Indy and IndyCar Series cars always makes me nervous. Why? I have no idea. Actually, the entire 3rd row is F1 liveried cars as well. A McLaren, and it looks like one of the old Jordan liveries. Maybe not. Not an old Jordan, but are you talking about the blue and white one? Yes, the green and white one, but we do have Chris Preston in a
the old Williams, the Mansell car, the Cannon.
Yep, there's also a Benetton livery here too. Good Lord.
Yep, and a Renault as well.
This is going to be we could be in for an interesting night here. 12 corners of high-speed racing action. This is the long run down the back straightaway. Actually, I think that, this is the run into 6. I'm sorry, excuse me. Let me correct myself here and find where the heck I am on the racetrack. One way or the other, this is going to be a really fun race to watch here. This one is scheduled for 24 laps. Local cautions only. No backup cars are available to these teams. Through turn 10A and now back to the right at 10B. And from here, it should be just about full throttle for these race cars. The kink at turn number 11, right at pit in. Already on the loud pedal. Green flag in the air. We're underway.
Wow, he caught Everett sleeping.
In a very big way. Everett Paddock going to fall back to 4th.
Sleeping. He was hibernating, actually. Good God.
You don't usually see Everett Paddock fall back like that. One of my favorite shots on this race course, screaming up through the S's. Looks like everybody is clean so far. Looks like we have a couple of cars that may have elected to start this race from the pit lane. Get you a look here. Race leader David Porcelli out to a 1.3 second lead over Jacob Smith. He's going to have Alex Rassi and Brett Gardner. Several cars looking like they may have had an issue here. Trouble for Simon Fell. Get you the Hot Shoe Racewear Instant Replay. There you see him off course and spun around backwards. Not the way Simon wanted to start this race. Also saw Jason Owens jump to the pits as well. He is all by his lonesome. He may have started this race from pit road, but currently being scored, well, minus 1 lap. So not totally sure what's going on there with Jason Owens. Also, Aaron Stillwell having an issue out on the racetrack. Pick up the fight for third. Alex Rassi, Brett Gardner. Everett Paddock back there in the 5th position. He's down 3 spots from where he qualified tonight. This is sort of what you talked about, James. These cars are basically draft locked. They're going to tow each other around here in a big way. Big move by Everett Paddock down to the inside of 10.
Woo! That was close.
Paddock quickly back up to the 3rd position. Rassi and Boatview are going to be battling there as well.
Yeah, I'm still trying to rack my head around Gardner's livery. I really don't think that's a Jordan livery.
Yeah, I don't think so.
However, Rassi's might be. That might be the old early 90s. No, that's the Benetton one. No,
yes, yep. Rassi's got the old Benetton colors on that one.
Yeah, looking like the 96 car, if I am correct. Or that might... No, that's like 92, 93.
John Dinkle checking in 22. Yikes, that's large SOF races. Yeah, this is a big one for sure. Zach Evans saying, Wiggly Bit, coming from the same glossary of technical jargon as Wobbly Goblins. Yes.
I feel like Zach, of all people, should not be surprised with my use of unique jargon.
Sliding back in the field here, Mike Holler, Nagisa Yashikawa. Yashikawa going to lose a couple of positions here. Giancarlo Schooler, Lewis Tolan, they're battling side by side. A Haas and a Mercedes PM18 dueling here.
Yeah, Nagisa.
Oh, big trouble for Brett Gardner. He got off track, and he's going to tuck in deep in the field now, back to 15th.
Lord, look at the train he is in the middle of. Good God.
Yeah, this is a long line of race cars here. In fact, being led by Lewis Tolan, but he's not that far off of Mike Holler. Outside of the top handful of cars, there's race leader David Porcelli. He has a 2.2 second lead over Jacob Smith. Get the timing tower up on the screen here for you. There is the gap back to the race leader as we work lap number 4. Everett Paddock runs in 3rd, 1.7 seconds back of Smith, 1.2 seconds ahead of Alex Rassi. Rassi is the final car that's sort of connected to this lead group. Then we get back here. John Boatfewer and Frank Wynn battling. Boatfewer able to get around Wynn in the fight for the 5th position. Pick up Mike Holler, Lewis Tolan. They will fight here. Holler, a familiar face to our broadcast. Oh, Holler may have gotten off track just a little bit.
Yeah, that's always dangerous to take the line he takes, because these cars are so sensitive to the curbing that if you're not careful, that could easily spit the car out across the track into the wall. Surprisingly, it hasn't happened to me yet, but I've definitely seen it. That was probably a little too close for comfort.
Yeah, Mike Holler falling back a couple of spots here, losing 9th to Giancarlo Schooler and 10th to Nagisa Yashikawa. John Boatfield getting around Everett Paddock as well for 4th. Seeing James Curtis and Alec Campbell having an issue here on the racetrack. Get you the replay on this one. A little bit of contact, nowhere for James Curtis to go. Big contact for the 88 Serge Cola entry. He's going to have to start working his way back towards the front of the field here, but a lot of damage on that machine. Curtis may be done for the evening. Side by side in the fight for 4th, Everett Paddock trying to get around Boatfield. He'll do so cleanly, but the one going to fight back down to the inside. I tell you what, I love that turn 11 and 12 complex. It is just incredibly fast. Short run over the start-finish line, right back down hard onto the brakes for turn 1. Everything about this place just screams fast.
This is one of my favorite tracks on the entire service. There is absolutely nothing like it. It's so tight and confined, but you're also carrying ridiculous speed. And the S's, when you can get them right and you can figure out where the hell you're actually going, it's a blast.
Yeah, I have that issue frequently in trying to run this place. It's almost like you get yourself lost. And for the drivers that are, well, good at this, unlike me, it really is just as much of a challenge, though, because what comes with speed is the need for precision. Anywhere that you are not 100% spot on is going to cost you lap time in a very big way.
Yeah, you said it. The turn 2 and 3 chicane, it is as blind as you can get. You are literally turning the wheel to the right and hoping you did it at the right time to where you go over the crest and you're hitting the curb because you can't see the apex. And if you're not paying attention, you throw the wheel thinking you're going, and then you go over the hill and you're like, oh, okay, my turn was back there.
Yeah, you're off in God knows where after you miss any of these corners. You're just flat lost and trying to recover. Already at 1/3 distance here. There is your race leader, David Porcelli, holding a 2 1/4 second lead over Jacob Smith. They're long gone here at the front of the field. Alex Rassi runs 3rd. But he's going to at least potentially be caught by Everett Paddock and John Boatfield. Those cars get hung up, and also Frank Nguyen and Chris Preston there too. If they stay in line, there is a very real chance they're going to get caught up to Rassi and fight for 3rd. Tell you what, James, looking a little bit ahead here on the schedule, if this is fast, next week is going to be abject insanity The Charlotte Motor Speedway Oval coming up here for the PM18s. That is about as pack racing as you can get in these cars. No separation there.
Oh, Lord Almighty. That has drop week 100% written all over it. That's going to be chaos, not in a fun way. If someone can make a setup to where you can pass, it'd be great. But otherwise, we're probably going to see a long train around the bottom for 80 laps until people die.
Yeah, it's basically one of those deals where you only have so much speed to work with here. The cars are going to top out, and actually we may be seeing some top out here as well, because Everett Paddock is rapidly catching Alex Rassi for third. Big move by Paddock to get up into the third position over Rassi. Rassi going to tuck right back in line. Boatfewer with nowhere to go. He's going to have to hold on to the fifth position. This is a good battle for the final podium position. You almost wonder now, James, do these three cars just stay in line? I mean, 6 seconds is a huge gap to make up on Jacob Smith, but we're not even to the halfway point yet.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to catch up to him, but if they stay like this, they might be able to pull a gap from Frank and Preston to at least kind of settle it amongst themselves for the last podium spot.
Boatfewer are going to have a look on Rassi. Sometimes the toe is just too good. Down into turns 10 and 11. We're at the halfway point, almost the halfway point anyway. Let's do it, race fans. Give you guys at home a chance to crank it up. This is the tightest battle on the racetrack right now. Lewis Tolan over Giancarlo Schooler, Nagisa Ashikawa. The fight for 8th, 9th, and 10th. 11, 12, and 13 are right there with him as well. Tom Whitmer, Frankie D, and Mark Stevenson. Schooler down to the inside of Tolan. He'll get the job done. Yashikawa tries to slot through as well. No room there. How about Schooler trying to get around Tolan? Side by side at 130 mile an hour. That's one of those where you can be side by side, but you're not going through the S's that way.
Yeah, they were scaring me. I wasn't sure they were going to settle that out in time. You can't go side by side there. Very bad things will happen. I mean, they're more than welcome to try for our entertainment, but for their own sake, I don't think they wanted to.
Almost make a little bit of contact there. Tolan has to get off the rear wing of Schooler. The gap between Jacob Smith and Everett Paddock, by the way, still hanging right about 6 seconds, as we're going to be down to 10 laps to go next time the leader crosses the start-finish line. It is so much fun to watch these drivers really swing the back end of these race cars out. That is a level of control that I don't have, and it's really difficult to achieve in iRacing because you don't have the seat of the pants feel. You can't feel the car breaking loose. It kind of just has to be intuitive that you know what the car is going to do.
Yeah, a lot of that boils down to good wheel and just good overall feel of your car. You know, you can give anyone a high dollar, high end direct drive wheel, but you can't teach feel. And if you want to rip this car around here like they are, you need feel. So I can guarantee you that average Joe ain't going to be able to drive that car like these guys are doing. It's a marvel to watch. Whew, I thought Nagisa was going to miss that corner.
He did miss the corner. Yashikawa was off track. Also, Frankie D getting off track. That almost looks like an old Footwork livery. That's going way back in the F1 days.
My God, it does, doesn't it? That is awesome. Now that's an acceptable F1 livery.
I was just going to say, if you're going to run an F1 car, it is an old Footwork livery. That's fantastic. Sliding up here, the 11 of Tom Whitmer running a modern IndyCar Series livery. The Arrow McLaren Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports entries. Let's slide up a little bit here. Everett Paddock still with John Boatfewer all over his rear wing. This is the fight for the third position, and they've cut about a second out of that gap. Down to 5 1/4 seconds. Now, granted, we're at 2/3 distance, so unless there's a big mistake somewhere here at the front of the field, looks like this will remain the battle for the final podium position.
I'd say something in agreement, but knowing my history in curses, it's best if I don't expand on it.
You thought it. That means that somebody at the front of the field is going to be cursed here. That gap is now down to 4.5 seconds. These two cars are cutting a ton of time. Let's pick up Jacob Smith here. Show you the lap times board. Negative numbers just about all across the board. And it's upwards of 1/3 to almost half a second. Trouble on the racetrack for Jason Owens. Show you the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. Oh, a little bit too much throttle. Nice save, Owens. Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well done. And doing it with a blinking car screaming past you as well. John Dinkle checking in once again in the comments here. Oh, how just a couple weeks ago did we have a completely different top three. Yeah, that's been fun to watch this season. It's not the same drivers week in and week out that are dominating. Our friends at DeWeather Center checking in saying, loving the DeWeather blue and gold curbs. Yes. Actually, we haven't given you the weather conditions for this one. As always, presented by our friends at DeWeather Center. Offensively accurate weather for eastern Pennsylvania. 68-degree ambient temperature. Winds going to be out of the west-northwest. North-northwest, whatever. At 5 miles an hour. Partly cloudy skies. 72-degree track temperature. Our buddy Ziggy checking in saying, oh, I made it just in time for the end. Yes. Not much left in this race anyway. Watching a fun battle here between Everett Paddock and John Boatfewer. Where does the one make his move? Is it almost worthwhile to just sit here right on his rear wing?
Yeah, honestly, if I was him, I'd just try to draft until as late as you could and then make it into the chicane.
Yeah, basically, don't give him a shot to defend it.
Yep.
Trouble on the racetrack for Mark Stevenson. He was running in the 12th position. Big group of cars here. Let's see what happened to the number 17. A little bit too much. Oh, man, nice piece of driving there by Nagisa Yoshikawa. Let's get you another look at that one from Yoshikawa's onboard. Nice piece of cover your rear end driving there, that's for sure.
Yeah, give it. I'm gonna make a Mario joke and say Yoshi laid an egg with that one, with how close he came to dying.
Seeing Mike Holler came down pit road. Get you the replay here. See if we have any damage on this car that we can see. None that is at least blatantly obvious here that the crew would have to fix. But Holler coming down pit road, going to give up a lot of time and positions here. Back to the 18th position. Slide back here, pick up the fight between Frankie D and Mark Stevenson. Stevenson had that issue. No contact. He stays on the racetrack. D, well, he was about a half second up. Here comes Mike Ricecamp. Sounds like Andy Corsa may have had an off track here as well. Getting that car squared back away and back out onto the racing surface. Down to 4 laps to go here for David Porcelli, your race leader. The gap 4.6 seconds over Jacob Smith. Here comes the move by Boatfewer, trying to get around Everett Paddock. Has to tuck back in line.
That's just unreal, man. You cannot get any closer than they just got right there. That is awesome.
Paddock thus far able to hold on to the top spot, or at least the final spot on the podium anyway. The Weather Center checking in, saying Yoshi avoiding being Palmerton. Yes. Tell you what, that was a big moment back there for John Boatfeuder. He's now running 1.4 seconds back of your race leader. Trouble for Mike Ricecamp and Alex Campbell. Not sure. There's the issue for Ricecamp. Let's get you another look at the replay here. He had Mark Stevenson right behind him. Oh, a little bit of an off track. They're both going to have to swing way wide. Here's Frank Wynn having a look on Alex Rassi. Down to 2 to go. Battle for the 5th position. Seeing Alt Maverick checking in, saying, "Go, Aaron, go." I'm assuming that's Aaron Stillwell that you would be talking about. Aaron running in the 17th position. Running 1 lap down, 2. Your race leader, David Porcelli, just coming around. Porcelli with about a lap and a half to go. We'll pick up this battle once again between Alex Rassi and Frank Wynn. Joseph G checking in on Twitter saying, "Keep it up, David, almost there." Yeah, getting there pretty quickly. Oh, big off track for Alex Rassi. He's going to come rejoin behind Chris Preston.
Looked like he just got a little too wide. You try to get as wide as you can to make the entry into the next corner a little better to maximize your acceleration off the corner, but he just... God, it's so easy to do that there. Now that is something I have done a lot.
White flag is out. 1 lap to go for race leader David Porcelli. Jacob Smith 4 seconds back in the 2nd position. Everett Paddock holding on to 3rd, another 4 seconds back. Put 4 seconds between Paddock and John Boatfeuder. There is nobody on the racetrack right now that is anywhere close to each other in terms of an on-track battle. The closest I'm seeing in timing and scoring right now, 1.4 seconds. And there you got to go all the way back to 14th place Mike Ricecamp to see that kind of a gap. Dominating performance. Porcelli put in a fantastic qualifying lap, skunked the field at the start of this race. Just a couple of corners away from claiming victory here at Road Atlanta. Down through turns 11 and 12. Over the start-finish line, checkered flag in the air. David Porcelli wins at Road Atlanta. Jacob Smith going to come across the line to claim 2nd. And there is 3rd place finisher tonight, Everett Paddock. Not a bad race all the way around here. Pick up our race leader or race winner doing the victory donuts here. Waiting for the last couple of cars to come across the line. We'll be able to get you your final results here this evening.
That's a nice burnout.
I was going to say, impressive to not grenade a motor there. Well done. Let's bring up your race results now that everybody has crossed the finish line. David Porcelli going to be your race winner by 3.9 seconds over Jacob Smith. Everett Paddock comes home third. John Boatfield or Frank Wynn, your top five. Chris Preston, Alex Rassi, Lewis Tolan, Tom Whitmer, and Nagisa Yashikawa, the top 10. 11 to 15, Frankie D, Giancarlo Schooler, Mark Stevenson, Mike Ricecamp, and Andy Corsa. Jason Owens will finish tonight in 16th, 17th, Aaron Stillwell, 18th, Mike Holler, James Curtis, Alec Campbell, Brett Gardner, and Simon Fell will round out the field here this evening. Waiting to see who we may have pop in to the booth here for an interview. May only be Everett Paddock here this evening, our third place finisher. Give him a moment, see if he wants to pop in here to chat with us. And well, look at that. Ask and you shall receive. Bring up the good-looking cameras and all the graphics here for third place finisher tonight, Everett Paddock. And Everett, I guess the first question I have to ask is what happened on the start there? It seemed like, I don't know if it was a mechanical issue or something, but David was just able to absolutely check out on the initial race start.
Oh, he just caught me napping. You know, I got passed up by everyone, and then I just went from bad to worse for me. Boy, that was I was really lucky to finish third.
Well, I tell you what, though, the car looked pretty darn quick once you were able to get it all sorted out and squared away. You and John put on a fantastic show throughout most of that race, and it seemed like the number two was pretty darn quick tonight. Maybe just not enough pace to catch up to David and Jacob, though.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if you guys saw, I slid wide. I think I probably would have been pretty close to, I think I would have been able to catch Jacob, but I think with that big a lead, there was no way I was going to catch the leader. And honestly, getting past a guy, that's a different story, right? Might be able to catch him, but, you know, you never know getting by somebody. Just like John, he was struggling. Raced me really fair. I really appreciate the way he raced me, too. So that was it was good to see some new guys here and some new blood that raced everybody the way we like to be raced here.
Yeah, that was the one that was sort of, I will say, interesting, is that a lot of faces that are not necessarily familiar to us and our viewers, not sure how much you run with them in the PM18s. Does that change your approach at all when you're around some names that you might not be all that familiar with?
Of course it does. Yeah, you know, when you don't know how people are going to race you, what they're going to be like. There's been a couple new guys. John, I've seen around before. I don't think we've ever raced wheel to wheel much, but you know, and I've never raced with David either. So that's it was good stuff. Good racing.
All right, Everett. Well, congratulations on a podium finish here. Another pretty decent points night. Last question before we get the plugs in and all, but what do you think next week heading to the Charlotte Motor Speedway Oval?
You know, I'm a blank canvas for that one. I hear it's going to be a bunch of pack racing. When Jason Owens says it's going to be pack racing, I'm certain it's going to be pack racing. So we'll go out there and try to have some fun.
All right, Everett. Well, congratulations once again on the podium here, and let's get all the thank yous and shout outs in.
I'm going to thank the usual. I want to thank the community managers. Good to see the participation up this week. I think it's obvious that it's not the car, it's the track that brings people here. So that's awesome. And I want to thank my team, Amadema, Scott McIntyre, and Fabio Berchold for the help with the setup this week. Sam Clark too. Forgot Sam. Thanks.
All right, Everett. Thank you very much, here, brother. We appreciate it. And with that, we are going to get ready to get on out of here. Tell you what, James, the Michelin Man up here taking front and center stage, but not a bad race we saw here at Road Atlanta. Maybe not as tight as we would have expected at the front, but a ton of great racing throughout the field.
Yeah, we had a lot of nice solid battles throughout the field. Maybe not as action-packed and chaotic as Hungaroring last week, but this was definitely a solid race.
A lot of fun, and we're going to be looking forward to coming back next week for the Charlotte Motor Speedway Oval. A lot of racing action coming up this next week on the National Racing Network. Tomorrow, weather and network permitting, it'll be live real-world racing action from Linda Speedway, Jonestown, Pennsylvania. Coming up on Monday, the Silver Crown Championship kicks off week number 4 already? No, week 3, I guess. I don't know. Whatever it is. Of the 2021 Season 4. Tuesday night, it's the Rock Block. 3 hours spinning all your hits back-to-back. Looking forward to that one. The Free V Series, the Bolt Series for the USF 2000 cars, and the Shock PM18 Series. Going to be a lot of racing action coming up this week on the National Racing Network. Until then, for James Watson and everybody here at NRN, including camera designer and assistant producer Connor Baldwin, my name is Chris Graham. It has been a pleasure to have you hanging out with us here tonight. We will talk to you soon. Have a great night, everybody.